Coming up
tomorrow.
on Sophisticated
You always want
Mom.
to be able to be an influencer. Like, I think when Vine shut down, like, people was making 6 figures on Vine, but guess what? When that shut down, if that was their only revenue or that was their only way of being seen, then now all of a sudden they don't have a business.
Dedication, preservation, take a look inside your salvation. Do every good work, it takes patience, like a butterfly, transformation.
Sophie here, back with another video. If you are new to my channel, then don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all my videos. And don't forget to check the description box because I always put a lot of stuff in there, including my Patreon, which what I'm going to be talking about, since a lot of y'all might be stuck at home on Patreon, is I'm going to be talking about if you guys want to start your own business, blog, or influencer or online thing or whatever the case may be. I'm going to show you how to do that, which is why you want to check the description box so you can get the link to that. I'm getting more and more business advice. If you just know me from YouTube, then YouTube is actually not my primary platform. My blog is actually my primary platform. And before it got hacked, because it got hacked a few months ago, I was making close to 80,000 page views a month on my blog. So don't judge me by the YouTube numbers. I tend to know a little bit on what I am doing about starting a online business. I'm also a best-selling author. My single mom's book will also be in the description box. And so I want to teach y'all, because in situations like these, it's kind of like, do you really want your money to be controlled by somebody else? I didn't have a situation like this when I started my own business, but I did get laid off from my job a while ago. And I remember from then on forward is when I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start my own business. It took me a lot of time because I didn't know what I was doing, which is why I said when I got to where I am today, I will always teach other people how to do it, because there wasn't a lot of information out there. And the information that is out there, they be charging a crazy, insane amount to teach somebody how to start their own business. And so I just said I did not want to be like that. So this video is not going to be like incredibly long. If you guys like this video, then give it a thumbs up and leave your questions in the comment section on if you're interested in starting like a business, and then I can get to your questions, since this is not normally what I cover on my channel. And so I can know exactly where you guys want to get help, okay? And this is gonna sound crazy, but this is how Sophia brain works. Is I always think of the internet like the Tower of Babel. Before you be like, huh, y'all know I like to correlate random biblical stuff to everyday life, so I'm gonna explain to you. If you are not familiar with the Tower of Babel, everybody used to live together before like the continents. It was like one big massive thing of land, right? And the people decided to build up to try to reach God. And then God said this: behold, they are one unified people and they all have the same language. This is the only beginning of what they will do. In the Amplified, it says in rebellion of me, but we're not using the internet for evil, okay? And now no evil thing they can imagine can be impossible to them. So what my point is, that what God was saying is that when you have the access to a large amount of people and you can reach people all over the world, because if you think about it, he separated all of the people back then after that happened, because it says that after this, so the Lord scattered them abroad all over the surface of the earth to stop them from congregating together, because once people are unified, there is nothing that is impossible to them. So what does that mean for you and your internet business? The internet is kind of like that. Nothing is impossible to you as far as income, as far as what you can do, as far as the type of business that you can start, as long as you have access to a computer. And then you look at people like Issa Rae from Insecure, where she started a YouTube series and literally she became, you know, the HBO producer, and she kind of started her brand on YouTube. You also have people like Superwoman. I think she was from Canada, and I'm gonna put her book in the description box because I think it's awesome. It's called How to Be a Boss. She gives a lot of applicable business advice. She started on YouTube and now she has her own TV show, like night show or whatever, right? So I guess what I'm saying is that what can be impossible to you if you can build an online business, if you can build a fan base, if you can reach thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. My blog has like, it's all over the country. I might put like a screenshot because it's read in several countries. When you think that you have the ability and whatever gift or talent or whatever you want your business to be reached all over the freaking world, that is then what is impossible to you. So that's why I kind of mentioned that Bible verse, because I want you guys to understand the magnitude of what is at the tip of your finger. With that being said, that was a long behind intro, but I want to get into the 3 different types of what you would be categorized categorized. And like I said, this is just an introductory video. If you guys want more videos like this, then let me know, and I can definitely tell you guys more about making money and that sort of thing. But the first is more of the influencer category. So what is an influencer? An influencer is somebody who has the ability to persuade other people to buy things, right? So influencers normally are really big on YouTube. Influencers are also normally big on Instagram. How influencers typically make their money is that they work with brands who typically offer them money in order to, promote their product, contingent upon, them having a big audience. So the way to become an influencer is that you absolutely have that you must have a big audience and you must have a dedicated fan base. So buying subscribers and all that other type of stuff is just simply not going to work. The reason why it's not going to work is because, like on my blog, I have a Google Analytics. Whenever I create a media kit, which is what you do as an influencer to name your prices, they're going to want to see how many people are following you on all your social media platforms. If you have a blog, just because you want to be an influencer on a blog and you want to work with sponsorships, how many people are reading your blog every month? How many page views do you have? How many of them are return visits? How many on YouTube subscribers do you have? And really, subscribers only sort of matter a little bit, but what really matters is the views that you get on your videos, because a brand wants to know, if we give you thousands of dollars, and it definitely can get up to that, thousands of dollars for an Instagram post, thousands of dollars for a YouTube video, thousands of dollars for a blog post, provided that you have the numbers to back up that that is what your stuff is worth, right? We need to know that our stuff is getting in front of the right audience. So whenever you think about being the influencer route, it can take a little bit longer, because if you start on a blog or Instagram or YouTube, then obviously people have to discover you, they have to subscribe, and they have to like you, and you have to build up your numbers. Is it impossible to do in a short amount of time? No, because a lot of people do. I would recommend always having a separate website. I would never recommend like Instagram or YouTube just being your social, like your primary thing, because those are owned by other people. If Instagram shuts down tomorrow, you always want to be able to be an influencer. Like, I think when Vine shut down, like, people was making 6 figures on Vine, but guess what? When that shut down, if that was their only revenue or that was their only way of being seen, then now all of a sudden they don't have a business. So I recommend, even if you want to be an influencer, yes, you want to incorporate Instagram, because as an influencer, that is like your portfolio, but you also want to have something like a blog that you self-maintain, and also that will be an additional money thing, because if I'm going to a brand and I say I have the stuff to back up, I have the money, I have the people to back up what I'm asking for you money-wise, then you can charge separately for an Instagram post, and you can charge separately for a blog post, thus leading you to more money. And with that being said, the quickest way to be an influencer is that you need to niche down. This was one of my biggest mistakes when I first started, is that my niches was all over the place. I still kind of combine them now, but I've also been blogging for a very long time. So I even do hair and I do inspirational, y'all know that. But if you read my tagline, as you saw in the beginning of this video, it's Bible. So everything that I do fits into the beauty, intelligence, limitless, and educated. So that is what I teach you. So you have to find a niche in which you are teaching people. So if somebody comes to your Instagram, if somebody comes to your blog, they literally are going to look at it for about 5 seconds before they make a determination on if you are worth following, if you are worth investing in. Because in the influencer realm, if you don't have followers, then you don't have an audience, you don't have anybody, you don't have any money. So you have to understand that influencers are very fan based, and if you choose to be an influencer, then you always have to be earning up a fan base. Niching down is the best thing. So what is your passion? I wouldn't just say like, oh, I want to be beauty, because there's so much beauty out there. Do you want to be beauty over 30? You will be an influencer a lot faster than doing like something that narrow niche is beauty over 30, because there's not a lot of people doing that, and people who are looking for that will automatically flock to you than just a general like beauty guru. Or if or any sort of thing that's niche down, like postpartum health and wellness. That's a big thing. It's a lot easier for you to gain an audience for people who just had a baby and they're looking to get back in shape than just doing general health and wellness. People will naturally gravitate towards you and they will follow you because you are a specific niche that they're looking for, and there are not that many people out there, and therefore you are standing out more so in the crowd. That is not to say that you can never change your niche ever in life, because you can. But in the beginning, when you are gaining an audience, you kind of want to niche down and stick to something that people will follow you for. Once people get to know you and they're comfortable with you, then you can start to branch out and do different things within that niche, and then completely branch out and people will stick with you. But that's because by that time they are fans, right? So the next type is a thought leader. So a thought leader is somebody who normally puts out their own thoughts, put out their own empowerment, and their primarily way of making income would probably be speaking engagements. They would probably be writing books. They would probably be putting out products. Most of the time, the way that they make money is that people are literally buying their thoughts or their advice or something like that. Like if you go into the 5 love languages, Gary Chapman is a huge thought leader because everybody knows him for the 5 love languages. He is not an influencer in the sense that he don't work with brands and people are paying him for something. There's like a 5 love language book, there's a workbook, there's all this other type of stuff. So he is a thought leader in that type of genre. So you can be a thought leader in whatever type of genre you want to be a thought leader in. However, it's mostly sharing advice. And the way that you would make money is that people would be buying your advice. That could be through coaching, that could be through books, that could be through products, that could be whatever product that you choose to sell. The caveat to this is that a lot of people think that selling products is hard as far as making money. It's actually a lot easier when it comes to making money. If you have not read the 1,000 True Fan mentality, or you don't know what that is, then I'll probably try to find the article and link it in the description box. But it is a famous article that says if you have 1,000 true fans, these are 1,000 people that would ride or die for you, because you do still have to gain a fan base in the online world. That's just what it is. But if you have 1,000 people that want to follow you, ride or die, that absolutely love you, and you put out $100 worth of products in a year. So like, let's say you put out a book that is $20, you put out a workbook that is $10, you put out $100. I'm not going to name everything. You give coaching for $50 and whatever, and each of those 1,000 people buy into each of those products, then that's $100,000 a year. So it doesn't seem like it's that broad to become a thought leader, when really all you have to do is get 1,000 true fans. Obviously you want to get more, just to buy into what you're selling and be willing to buy each and every product that you put out, and therefore you will have a 6-figure income. And then you have 2,000 people, you put out $200 in a year, then you will have more. So when it comes to being a thought leader, obviously you have to have something worthwhile to share. You have to have motivation. People be like, oh, you don't have to be an expert in your field. You don't have to be an expert in your field, but certainly know what you're talking about. As somebody who has been in the mental health field and I have education in this area, I have watched other people who talk about mental health related things, and sometimes it's completely wrong. And I do feel like you can damage people's psyche if you don't know exactly what you're talking about, or you don't have the research or any type of certification, or you have not read up on anything to know, even you don't have to have education, but at least educate yourself on the field in which you're trying to go in, so that you're not giving out a bunch of false information, because then you're just doing more harm than good. But it is probably more easier to make a full-time income being a thought leader, finding a certain niche to talk about, where people will buy into your product. And that doesn't mean that you can't be an influencer as well, because you can also work with brands and that sort of things, and that will therefore double your type of income. But what I want to leave you off with saying, because I do want to give you some direction on where to go, you need to think about, do I want to be an influencer, or do I want to be a thought leader? What type of platform do I want to be on? There are plenty of people who are on YouTube who you can do like a single mom vlog. There are plenty of people who are on YouTube who make money through vlogging, and then primarily you will be working with brands. People will pay for product placement and stuff in your videos, but then you also know that it might take you a little bit longer to build up an audience. Do you want to do YouTube and a blog? I started YouTube and then I was doing my blog, and then I kind of gave up on YouTube for a while. I built up my blog, now I'm back on YouTube since I don't have to work my blog so much. Know that more exposure equals more opportunities to make money. What are you good at? What do you want to do? And if you don't want to be a thought leader or an influencer either way. You can always start an online Etsy store. You can start selling your stuff, but also know that it's never as easy as just putting up something random and selling it. More often than not, you are going to have to either get on a blog where Google can read SEO, because that's search engine optimization. If you just put up a store and nobody knows who you are, how are you going to get visitors, right? Most of the time, you have to have either a blog or a video or a YouTube channel or some sort of marketing tool, or even an Instagram where you're taking pictures of your product to lead people back to your Etsy store. So just know that it's never one thing that you have to put out. You always have to put yourself out there, and when people get to know you, get to know who you are, what you're about, then that's when people are typically willing to invest in you, become the true fan that I was talking about, and therefore buy your product. Okay, so I really hope that this video was helpful. Like I said, leave your questions or anything that you guys want to know. I just know, like, during this time when y'all probably at home with y'all kids and some of y'all might be struggling for money, I'm like, y'all, no, let's go ahead and get banked. Y'all can be using this time. If you ever want to step out on a limb, take a leap of faith and start your business, you could do that with little to no money. So if you have questions, I'm here for it. Don't forget to check my Patreon, and I'll see you guys another day, another time. Bye, y'all.